Oh boy, it's my first day as a criminal and I can't wait to do crimes with my friends. Let's try and keep a low profile with these masks. It's not working, so I'll create a distraction. Hashtag Leroy Jenkins. Consistently fun and messy in more ways than one, Payday 3 is a flawed, if ultimately worthy follow-up to one of the most popular co-op shooters of all time. And trust me, Payday 3 is well aware of how popular its predecessor was, as this game at almost no point even attempts to reinvent the franchise's now famous heist formula. You know the drill, load in as a team of 4, spend 10 minutes tiptoeing around the jewelry store, bank, art gallery, what have you, pretending to give a crab's ass about stealth before someone accidentally triggers an alarm or more likely gets bored and intentionally kills a guard. The ensuing insanity is what made Payday 2 a hit, and it's why Payday 3 works as well as it does. Wading through relentless waves of increasingly powerful cops with near omniscient teleportation powers that would make your average Night City rookie blush in order to complete intricate heist mechanics across a large maze-like map. It's a delicious recipe for non-stop action that makes for an addictive, I know it's 3 AM but just one more heist kind of gameplay loop. Add in a robust skill tree, level-based upgrades, guns on guns on guns, and tons of fun cosmetics, and baby, you've got a rewarding, highly replayable stew going. All this said, fans of Payday 2 might leave their first heist a little underwhelmed with the overall experience, as Payday 3 pretty much just slaps a new coat of paint on the process and calls it a day. And when I say new paint, I mean that Walmart bargain bin borderline expired kind of stuff. As save for some decent lighting and adequate environmental textures, Payday 3 looks okay at best on Ultra, though the devs have said they're planning on upgrading things to Unreal Engine 5 post-launch. We'll see. Last and least, don't go in expecting much from a story standpoint. Payday 3 continues the fast and loose chronicles of the Payday gang, and some familiar faces reprise their roles. But you're only given a dozen or so short vignettes in between heists about the Payday gang's struggles with a rival conspiracy group. It's mildly interesting, but the last reason you'll play this game. That brings us to some rapid-fire final scores. Payday 3's story elements are lukewarm at best, but never get in the way of the game's frantic combat and varied, if overly simple, non-combat mechanics. Would have loved to see more hacking puzzles or skill-based minigames here, because as is, it's pretty much just lockpicking and holding down X. Speaking of, good God, does it take too long to open things and pick things up in this game, and I feel like I spend half of each heist just staring at this little bar as it fills up. Other than this, no real complaints about the game's UI. It does a decent job of alerting you to fallen friends or directing you to the next interesting objective. These objectives are well paced and do a good job of showcasing the game's solid level design, and each of the game's 8 heists end up feeling fun and distinct as a result. Short of a crash or two, I enjoyed pretty decent performance in Payday 3 and bearable matchmaking times, though the game would benefit from a server list. Before moving on from playability, I'll note that the AI feels slightly more competent here than in Payday 2, though your bot buddies will still take every chance to screw you out of a win. As was the case in Payday 2, music here is dynamic and responds to the level of on-screen action, but it's not really designed to impress per se, merely to add atmosphere. I feel the same about the game's sound design. Nothing here really stood out to me as noteworthy, good or bad, but the guns are pretty punchy. That brings us to overall value. There are 4 fewer heists here than were included in Payday 2's base game, and short of farming unlockables, the in-game content in Payday 3 is basically just do it again, but faster and or quieter. For $40, consider me neutral with room to grow. So, in the end, I'm giving Payday 3 a 3.23 out of 5, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the game or my review. Until next time, this is Scope, and thanks for watching.